Have you ever played through a game and as you were going through it, you were like, how did I think about this game at the beginning? Well, I have, so I decided to write down my thoughts while playing this game in real time, so I'm writing this script as I play. I'm curious about how my thoughts and feelings will change during my time with each game, so I'm going to write my thoughts down at the 1 hour, 5 hour, 10 hour, and 20 hour mark, and then at the very end of each game I complete in this series. The game we're playing this time is the new Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero on PS5. I've never played the Phantom Brave series before, and I'm a novice in the world of strategy RPGs like these, so I might struggle a bit during my playthrough of this one. While writing down my thoughts and talking about this game, it's possible that there will be spoilers, so if you haven't played this one yet and don't want anything spoiled, I would consider coming back to this video once you do. This is my spoiler warning just in case though. If you've played this game, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'm excited to start playing this one, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'll check back in once I hit the 1 hour mark. Our journey opens with a recap of our heroes Marona and Ash as they briefly explain the events of the previous game, and we learn about how Marona is no longer considered an outcast and people love and respect her now. It tells us about Ash being a Phantom, and they have been together since Marona was a child. She was bullied for being able to talk to Phantoms since it's not a normal thing in society. Our game starts with a prologue following Marona and Ash as they voyage towards new islands and adventures, 6 months after the events of the previous game. While talking among themselves and to some of the crew on board of the ship, they're attacked by ghost ships known as the Shipwreck Fleet. This is when the game shows us the basics of combat. We meet a mysterious figure that claims to be the captain of the fleet, and with some quick thinking and sacrifice, Ash is able to save Marona from these ghost ships and the creatures on board by putting her in a water bubble and tossing her overboard. The screen turns to black and we find Marona laying on a beach. She's not moving until a Phantom by the name of Apricot touches her. This leads to meeting a pirate crew that invites her to join them, and we find out that Apricot is looking for her father, a man that was once the captain of their family pirate crew. Marona and Apricot decide to work together to find not only Ash, but Apricot's father as well, and she becomes our first Phantom in the game. I won't go too deep into story because I don't want to spoil anything for people that want to play the game, but that's the opening for this one. Anyways, the first thing that caught my ear in this game was the voice acting, for better or worse. Most of the voice actors give a good performance and actually seem like they want to be that character and make the most out of the opportunity. But for me, Ash at the beginning of this game seems like he recorded his lines once and he was just reading the script. There's like zero emotion in this guy. Maybe that's something with the actual character, but at one point he has to save Marona, his best friend, the person he's known the longest, and we get this calm sentence to her before throwing her overboard. Could you at least attempt to care about her? Anyways, the graphics for this game are beautiful. The bright color palette brings the world alive, making it feel like we're in a tropical section of the world. Every item feels unique in design, even if it ends up only being a color swap, so I actually really like that. The beginning of this game doesn't shy away from battles and does a lot of teaching you how to play the game within the first 15 to 20 minutes of it. This game seems to encourage the idea of going back through missions to earn more experience points for your team. I didn't really do this. I'm assuming later in the game that this might be important, but from what I played so far, my levels are above the enemies, so I didn't really have to worry about it too much. If you don't know, this is a turn-based strategy battle system. Characters take turns moving around a fixed map and can attack after they move as long as their attacks are in range of the enemy. This seems simple at its base, but there's actually a lot to this combat. And a lot of this adds a sense of strategy. Since our main character Marona is the only one that can confine Phantoms to objects on the battlefield, she can't be taken out or you'll lose the fight. When confining a Phantom to an item on the battlefield, that item will give the character buffs based on what it is. So something like a rock could give the Phantom more defense. When we confine a Phantom to an item, they have an opportunity to plunder it. This is determined based on how high their skill level is for stealing. So a class like a thief has a way higher chance than most other classes. Once a Phantom is confined, they can only stay alive on the battlefield for a specific amount of turns, and I believe this increases as they level up, but it seems that the default amount is 2 to 3. So sometimes it's smart to slowly confine your team, and other times it makes sense to just summon everyone at once, take out all the enemies as quickly as possible, and move on with the mission. Marona has the ability to make a Phantom gain an additional turn, but we can only use that ability once per turn and only on one Phantom at a time. We can also use her other ability to speed up a Phantom so that their turn comes earlier in the rotation. The side of the screen shows the turn order in which everyone is attacking, and it's something to pay attention to. Once Mirona's affection and friendship grows with the Phantoms, they'll be able to confriend together, and we can get some special abilities for a few turns while doing it. I only had enough affection with Apricot, so I only tried this out once, but it is really nice that we can attack multiple times once our friendship gets higher. When we attack with a Phantom, each skill that they use costs mana, so we have to manage that so we can use their stronger skills when we need them most. Every Phantom can be equipped with a weapon before entering a battle, and the item can change their stats and available skills, so grinding for better equipment or saving money to purchase ones in the shop is vital to having the strongest team. Between battles, we stay on Skull Rock Island, and this acts as the hub for the game. We can retry missions from here, shop, create new Phantoms, level up, and gain new skills and passive abilities, along with a bunch of stuff that I haven't even unlocked yet. I think the only one to really talk about right now is creating Phantoms, because the other ones are just what they sound like. When creating a Phantom, we can pick a base class for them, and depending on that class, we can unlock new buildings for the island, such as the shop, or the ability to send out units to find materials on different islands. Some of the early Phantoms have special abilities. We can also change their color palette, pick their name, or use a randomized name, which my favorite was the mage that we randomly named Hand Grenade Lou. We can pick what resistances they have, but we have to keep the percentage at 0, so we might have to go negative in one if we want to go positive in another. So for example, if we put a lot of fire resistance on a character, then their ice and grass resistant would have to be much lower. It's a weird thing to deal with, but I understand because we could just make a super overpowered character. We also get 3 additional stat points just for creating the Phantom that we can add into stuff like HP, strength, magic, and speed. Each class will have their own stats generated beforehand, but these give us the ability to add an extra boost to them. I think that covers the gameplay for this game. There is a lot to learn early in the game, but I think I've hit the point now where most things are just locked behind something, so we'll just have to unlock them to really expand on the combat. The combat is the part of the game that I really like. The gameplay is so seamless and the battles tend to go quick. That closes out the first hour of the game, and I'm really having fun learning it. I still make mistakes in combat, but it's to be expected until I fully grasp it. I also need to learn how to properly build my characters, but so far I haven't been punished for that yet, so I'm okay. I'm excited to play more, so I'll check back in at the 5-hour mark and see how I'm feeling then. I've reached the 5-hour mark, and at this point we've gotten mostly story development with a bunch of battles sprinkled in. So there won't be a huge amount of new things to talk about, just that we've expanded on older mechanics as I sort of expected early on. On Skull Rock Island, we can now build gadgets that can be used in battle by Apricot. The only one I currently have is a cannon, and I've only used it once so far on a weak enemy, so I haven't had a chance to really see what it can do. These gadgets seem like they will help us in battle because of how much damage they can put out in a large area of the map, but I guess we'll see. We have a ship now that we can upgrade so that the Phantoms on board can gain extra experience or other stats, but we can also decide how we want to run the crew, and that will determine how the experience is distributed. I think it's smart to add the Phantoms that you use most often in the ship, because we can only hold 5 of them right now. The juice bar has become extremely important because that experience that we get in there is allowing me to keep my team about the same level. I found that some of my Phantoms just don't have very much use in battle. Maybe because they're such a low level? I'm not sure. With the latest missions I've completed, only some of my Phantoms can even dish out damage, but a lot of them are extremely underleveled, like I said. So I might need to grind for a little while, just get everyone caught up to the recommended level of the next mission. We're on a new island that's just a giant desert, so we're fighting in areas with a bunch of desert things like cactuses, sand, oases. I don't even know if that's a word. In one of the missions, we're introduced to items on the battlefield that give the enemy protection, so we need to throw it out of bounds or destroy it because we can't do damage to that specific character until we get rid of the buffs. These can change some strategies because I have to throw away my current weapons so that I can pick them up and throw them off the level, and ultimately skipping a turn for that Phantom to attack, which is already stressful because they have limited turns. I still have 3 slots on the facility page that are locked, and I have no idea what they could even be at this point, so I'm pretty interested to see what they end up being. But I think that's about it at this point. A lot of my time has been redoing missions to get Missed Treasure Chest and creating a character for each available class, so that I can see which ones I actually want to invest my time into. I'm still really into this game right now, and I can't wait to see what next curveball this game throws at me. So I'm going to continue playing, and I'll check back in at the 10-hour mark and let you know how I'm feeling then. I've made it to the 10-hour mark, and we actually got a lot of new things to talk about. I completed Chapter 3, unlocked a brand new batch of Phantoms, and even got a new main character for the story. We got an Explorer that allows us to visit dungeons, which we can use our scrolls that we've been picking up this whole time and create them. When creating a dungeon, we have to complete all the floors of that dungeon or lose in order for us to get back out to the main game. Not that it's a big issue because we can get some rare equipment and level up our characters while in them, but it is annoying when you're just trying to get back to the main story. I spent a lot of time in a dungeon doing all 10 floors of it, meaning I didn't progress as much as I wanted to. We can now make some more monsters like an owl mage, assassin, and archer, which I haven't created any of these yet, so I'm not sure how good they are. And the last monster we got was a golem that is basically a tank that potentially could hit hard, but has pretty low range when moving around the map. The last major phantom we unlocked was Granny. She's an elderly woman that allows for us to use mana to combine equipment to level up and make it better. This will become extremely useful in the future. I'm sure of it. I'm closing in on level 30 for Morona, and she's currently my highest level character, which makes sense since she's in every battle. I feel like I've only been using phantoms that physically attack, so a lot of them are higher levels than my mages, healers, and wizards, but I haven't had any trouble yet. I think I should work on making at least one super strong mage because some enemies have extremely high defense, so it takes a while to take them down with my normal team. Chapter 4 has us heading to an island that snows all the time now, and we have to head there to figure out why and check on the reports of the ghost ships that have been docking there recently. I haven't done any missions there yet, so I don't know what new things that we'll get there. I created another new gadget, which is some barrel thing that shoots fire that's pretty strong, and we were able to salvage a whole section of the available area that we can. I've been working on trying to salvage every area, but I get a lot of the common equipment we can fish up, so this is taking so much longer than expected. I unlocked a new ship that has different buffs for our party members now, and I need to work on finding some equipment so that I can upgrade it. I don't think there's a whole lot else to talk about besides the things I mentioned, so I'll have to just continue playing to see what else we unlock. We have one more spot on the facility menu that we haven't unlocked yet, and I honestly have no idea what it could even be. So how am I feeling about this game now? I'm having a lot of fun playing it still. I keep trying to upgrade my units to make them stronger by increasing their stats. I've also been leveling up my phantoms to earn better, stronger skills, so that's pretty exciting. I have a really bad habit of hitting my down units though, so my dark level that it shows at the top of the screen is at like 6, so I need to do some perfect stages so that I can bring that back down. I don't really know what it does, but I guess it has some sort of debuffs. I never thought I would enjoy a game like this one, but so far, I'm chomping at the bit to play more of it. So I'll check back in at the 20-hour mark and see how I'm feeling then. I've made it to the 20-hour mark, and not a lot has changed. We're just continuing through the story and advancing from island to island. We have a bunch of new ships that we can use, and each one of them gives us boost. One of them will give us more experience, sometimes they'll give us more mana and money, and then sometimes they even give us stat buffs, like jumping and movement. I've just been using the base ship because now that it's upgraded a bunch, we're getting an additional 380% experience for any character that I had signed to the ship. So I've leveled up a bunch of times. Morona is around level 60, and most of the main phantoms that I use like Ruan, the Fighter, the Merchant, and the Thief are in their middle to high 50s. The recommended level for most of the story missions are about level 48 or so, meaning that I haven't struggled at all while completing them. I finished chapter 7 and I'm at the beginning of chapter 8 now. I'm pretty invested in a story that has a bunch of new phantoms and Ash has made his appearance again. I'm not sure what's going to happen with him because we can't use him in battle yet, but I think he's going to be incredibly strong once we gain access. I've been going through more and more dungeons, mainly for items to complete requests. These requests require us to turn in a specific item or a weapon over a certain level. Speaking of weapons, I have weapons ranging from the low 50s to Morona's starfish being close to level 100. I can't believe how strong some of the weapons get later on in this game, even doing as much as 3,000 to 4,000 damage per attack, meaning I one-shot a lot of the basic enemies in battle now. The last big thing that we unlocked is the final slot in the menu. This allows us to either awaken or reincarnate our phantoms. This would make them even stronger, but we need items called change books and eggs to perform these actions. And I haven't done either one of these yet. Awakening can be used on any of the phantoms, Morona and the main story phantoms. Basically how this works is that it resets their stats back to level 1, but gives them a bunch of additional stats that we can apply, making them much stronger once we level them back up. I should try this, but change books are extremely rare, so I need to figure out what character I would want to awaken in the first place. I'm thinking Morona would be the obvious choice considering we always have to use her in battle. Reincarnation can be used on all the non-main character phantoms, because this allows for us to not only reset them back to level 1 and get the stat increases, but we can also combine them with other classes so that they keep the skills that they've learned, but also get the skills of the new class, which means that we can design an insane unit that can pretty much break all the previous damage limitations. The nice thing about this is that we can carry over all active and passive skills as long as they're fully unlocked. We have to be careful though, because some abilities can get locked away because of the new class build, meaning it's going to take some time to figure out what the best combo of classes would be to make the best units. In order for us to reincarnate a phantom, we need eggs that seem extremely rare as well, because I only have about 2 or 3 of them. I'm thinking that I might take my fighter class and reincarnate him into being a thief as well, meaning that not only will he hit extremely hard, but he'll also be able to steal items and combine items with higher chance of success. I have a lot to consider before doing any of this, so I'll check in later and talk about some of the decisions I made concerning this later on. Our gadgets that we can summon with Apricot are now a level 100, but they seem to really lack in dealing any damage. So I don't really use them, but I really need to start because the more we summon them, the more skills they unlock. So maybe something later on will be useful. I'm not sure. We also have all 3 gadgets unlocked: the tank, the barrel mech thing, and what looks like a hot air balloon, which I don't think I've even used yet. I'll have to try that one out. I'm still really enjoying my time with this one, and I didn't think I would get into a game like this, so I'm pretty happy that I am. I'll check back in once I complete the game, talk about anything new, what decisions I made, and give my final thoughts in a mini review. So I'll see you then. I've completed Phantom Brave the Lost Hero in around 42 hours of gameplay. The same as the last JRPG I completed. Kinda interesting. Even after the 20-hour mark, we ended up getting 2 more main characters that we can use in combat, and were very important to the story. The first was Ash, which we knew would make his appearance. This made the game so much easier once he joined. He became our hardest hitting Phantom, and his attacks were just so good compared to most of the other classes. We finished the game with Morona being our highest level character at 132, with a weapon level of 296, which is insane that I still had requests that needed an item at level 1000 to achieve them. That's insane! How long would that take? Ash ended up being our second highest leveled character at 115, and a lot of the Phantoms I used throughout the game were around 90 to 100 at the end. I decided to awaken Morona and Ash to increase their stats towards the end of the game, but I never did reincarnate any of the other Phantoms. I was always like, I'll wait until their skills reach max, and then I'll reincarnate them. And then I kept doing this until the game was over. There was a lot of story late in this game, and only one challenging battle really. And this battle was only difficult because the boss in the level could restore so much health every time he attacked, meaning that I basically wasn't doing enough damage in one turn to really make a dent in his health. That caused me to burn through all of my Phantoms and ultimately lose the fight in my first and second attempts, but on the third attempt I figured it out using a little bit of cheese. But who cares, it worked out. Anyways, I think the story ended up being pretty good. Not the best story I've ever played, but the characters really grew over time, especially with some of the characters from the beginning of the game. If I had to pick my favorite character from this game, it'd be Mayfair Jones. She's just a badass captain that is always ready for a fight. She had some lines in this game that made me laugh out loud, because they were just off-the-wall insults, and I was not expecting them. The final boss ended up being a cakewalk for me, which was a bit disappointing considering its recommended level was something like 150. Maybe without hard-hitting Phantoms it would have been difficult, but I really didn't have any problems with it, and I beat it on my first try. It probably does help that Ash's attack with his sword was like 17,000 or something. Considering this is one of my first games in this genre, I actually really liked this one. The story was pretty good, as I said. The characters were strong and fun, besides Ash. I just didn't really care for him. It's possible that it was the voice actor, but I just wasn't that big of a fan of him outside of battle. The combat was fun, and I really enjoyed trying to plunder all the items on each level. Because of the plundering, most of my non-main character phantoms ended up being thieves and scrabbits, because they had the highest chance to plunder an item. The phantoms were okay, but I just feel like a lot of those classes were pointless, or basically the same as another class. So unless you had a strategy around a specific class, I'd probably just use the one that attacks the hardest, because I found that a lot of magic attacks weren't nearly as strong as physical attacks. I think that's all I have to say about this one. As I mentioned, I really liked my time with it, but I felt like it took way too long for me to get through it. Maybe without the constant distractions from exploring dungeons, upgrading weapons, and leveling my characters, that my overall game time would have been much lower. But I feel like you can't take it away, because that's what makes this game feel charming. I didn't even experience some parts of this game, because one of the trophies were to give presents to my phantoms, and I have no idea how to even do that. Where do you get presents from? The combat and characters were the most enjoyable parts for me, which is what kept me around for the whole thing. With all that being said, I would give this one a 7 out of 10. The story was fine, the characters are good, and the combat is fun. But sometimes this game just felt like it overstayed its welcome. We fought the same boss like 5 times or something. Why? There are some post-game missions that looked interesting, but I haven't decided if I'm going to go back and try them out yet. If you've played any of the post-game stuff, let me know if it's worth my time, or if I should just skip it. Well, that's been my thoughts throughout my playthrough of Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero. I hope that you enjoyed this video and how my thoughts of the game changed over the span of me playing it. I'd love to know your thoughts about this and hear some different opinions, so make sure you leave some comments. If you want to see more content like this, let me know down in the comments that you enjoyed this video and what other JRPGs you would want me to check out. Remember to like this video because it helps out my channel. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button for more JRPG content. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.